kind of threw me off a little bit.
Did the popping light bulb throw you off too? Did you catch that?
No, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can see it from here. Yeah.
I wonder if it was picked up on the microphone.
Everything's falling apart here in the Challenger studio.
Jeez.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
Hey, look at this. This is something special. Or is it? Who knows? It depends on when and how you're listening to this. So our plan, and our being myself, Patrick Brower.
And myself, W. Dal Bush.
No, I'm myself. You're yourself. Yourself, W. Dal Bush. Tell people yourself. That was a podcast. You have to talk.
Why are you making it so hard for me to do that then?
It's very easy for you. See right there.
Uh-huh.
And you're thinking, wait, wasn't there just an episode of this, like, yesterday?
Didn't I just have to sit through one of these, you might be thinking?
Well, what this is right now is not a Patreon exclusive episode.
Patreon first.
Patreon first, yes. When we have time this week, we're going to record in short bursts.
As applicable.
And then put it together, if there's enough, to be an actual episode by the end of the week.
Yeah.
So if we do that, patron, that means that when this full episode is released, you will already have had access to all the components.
Yeah.
So you're getting it now. You won't be getting it later.
Yeah, you'll be getting it in installments through the week rather than one giant chunk of it.
But if you're not a patron, this is all new for you.
Yeah, then you're just going to be hearing a bunch of these things in a row that happen over consecutive or near consecutive days. So obviously we are a business in Illinois, which means that as of this past Saturday, we have been shut down as a non-essential business until at the earliest April 7th, when we're allowed to reopen, assuming the state of Illinois decides that that is a safe time for us to reopen. So in the meantime, Patrick and I are still running a business, and for people who might think like, oh, 2 weeks off or whatever, let me assure you that is not the case. I'm doing as much or more work than I normally would. I'm just doing it at the weirdest start and stop times. I have actually been at home a lot the last few days, and I've been able to, like, play a little Animal Crossing or watch some Kamen Rider or do laundry. But at the same time, like, I'm constantly stopping those things to do some other thing, to answer an email, to work on something that we're hoping will be able to go live within the next week or two, to investigate a bunch of different things that we're working on to try and solidify our plans for how we're going to run our business moving forward over the 17 to whatever indefinite day forced closure we have. So I don't want to say it's more exhausting because I got to play Animal Crossing.
But if you were doing that normally, you would work your 8-hour day and then come home and then play Animal Crossing and have it be uninterrupted.
I'd have a structure to it. This is work time and this is not work time. This is a thing where it's just like, it's like musical chairs or something where you just never quite know when something's going to start or stop. You are sitting there doing, watching half an episode of Batwoman, and then suddenly you get an email from someone you're working with who's saying, all right, I'm going to be working on your database. And it's like, oh, great. Okay, I have to spend the rest of my night reading these manuals. And then the next day it's like, well, maybe I'll finish that second half of Batwoman. And then Diamond emails you to say, hey, by the way, you can go pick up your books right now a day early. So suddenly your entire Monday changes.
A conversation from earlier today. Do you want to get the books? Now? Why? That's how it happened.
Yeah, basically.
And the answer was, just in case anything else changes,
yeah,
we have them?
We honestly didn't even know if we'd be able to get books at all this week, because while we expected to be able to, because of the fact that we go pick them up at a warehouse, and that warehouse is considered an essential business because they do shipping, there was always the risk that they would just be like, no one can pick up. No outside people, you are non-essential. Like, you're not in the trucking trade. You are not an essential employee of anything, so you're not allowed to come to an essential business.
And I'll tell you, we went there and we tried to maintain as much social distancing as possible from other people picking up or dropping off other materials.
Yeah.
And the warehouse was on like a skeleton crew.
Yeah.
It was so much emptier.
Yeah, and this is the middle of the day on a Monday.
Which, to be fair, we're never there on a Monday, so we don't know what it's like.
Yeah, so we go pick up the books, and at this point, like, we could sell them immediately on Monday, but it's like, we weren't really planning on doing this, and we're working on some stuff that's
Do you want to back up for a minute? That
Sure.
When we woke up this morning, there had been no news from either Marvel, DC, or Diamond?
Sure, well, Marvel had given news, it just wasn't news anyone liked, which I think we talked about in the last episode.
Right.
DC, however, to date, and this is 8:46 p.m. on Monday, March 23rd, DC has made zero announcements about what they're planning to do about the COVID-19 outbreak and how it's affecting the retail community.
But what they have done is turn off all messaging on their Facebook page.
Yeah, probably because they're tired of retailers saying, "What are you doing about this?"
Yeah.
Because every other publisher, that's at least a premier publisher, I think, Dark Horse. I don't know if Dark Horse has said anything, but Boom has made multiple announcements, including like increasing and revising kind of what they were going to be doing for the retail community.
Basically, it was, here's what we're doing. Here's what else we're doing.
Yeah,
here's what else we're
Here's
doing.
what more we're doing.
They keep upping the game.
Yeah. So companies like Boom and Image and IDW, I think IDW.
Yeah, involved.
We're doing more stuff. Who was the one that you had messaged me with? Where it was a list of everything that they were doing, and I was like, "This should be."
That
the
was
baseline.
IDW.
Yeah, IDW. So they were doing things like 2 months of returnability.
Too much returnability, starting with the books that came out last week.
Reduced output, which is, again, the stuff we've been asking for, which is just release less books because there's not going to be as many people around to buy them, so we have to keep the bills down as low as we can. And there's only so much we can shave to the bone when you're dealing with things like subscriptions, which you kind of have to order no matter what.
Yeah.
But then so that was kind of more information we learned today, and we picked up the books and we brought them back and did a little bit of stuff. David Harper
from Sketch.com and the Off Panel podcast,
who's
a good friend of the stores.
A good friend of the stores, and Patrick in particular, had offered to include challengers in the thing he's doing. That by the time you're listening to this, I believe is more or less over. It was, I think, just for Monday.
Well, it goes all through to yesterday because tomorrow. Because
it goes through yesterday.
It goes through yesterday. It happened yesterday. Did you like it?
It goes back in time.
We asked him to extend it a day because of our not being able to bring people up.
We basically weren't in the store. He did a thing where he was directing people to patronize different stores in the country or the world.
Different countries around that he's friendly with.
Yeah, different stores all over the globe. And it was basically like you would. He'd be working with an artist local to that store. So in our case, it was Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yes.
And Daniel Warren Johnson would be doing a sketched cover, I think a Star Wars Hoth cover.
That is correct.
For Empire Strikes Back, I assume, or something, the Star Wars comic book. And that would be raffled off to people who spent $20 or more with the participating store, in this case, Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, which also does a retail industry business podcast on the Yak Channel Podcast Network.
Oh, I should listen to that. It sounds informative.
They release so many episodes now, it's nuts. So the kind of the problem was, because of the stay-at-home order that we were operating under, which we kind of only left our homes to go to get the books that we were even planning on picking up today.
I'm going to jump in and say that David had asked me about this earlier, and this was before you and I really had a concrete idea of what was happening. So I had said, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I had sent him our email address and our phone number, and I didn't realize we weren't going to be at the store as much this week, so we had said people could call in or people could email.
Yeah, because we don't really have currently an online storefront that people can just order books from and then qualify for the raffle. So we were getting a lot of emails of people saying, like, you know, what can I get? Can I get these things? And we were only briefly at the store dropping the books off. So we were able to hit like 3 or 4 emails of like, these 5 things you asked for, we've got 4. Do you want something else instead? Or, okay, you kind of didn't give us anything, so how about these things? Because people wanted to get to $20. So if they asked for $20 worth of stuff, but we only had, you know, $16 worth of stuff, they'd have to come up with something else. And that's all without us being able to quickly get this information from them. It's a lot of back and forth email. So we did that for a little bit, took care of that as much as we could, but then those emails kept rolling in throughout the day to the point where we had to tell people, look, you're still eligible when you do it tomorrow. We will be in the store tomorrow to handle all of this.
There was one person who was so adamant, and honestly I think that English is their second language, but they had emailed in and I emailed back, here's what we could do, and then by the time it was all said and done, we were not at the store anymore, so I'd said, hey, I'll ring you up tomorrow and let you know everything that we have, get you your totals and blah, blah, blah tomorrow. But I promise this is still part of the drawing. You're still in the contest. And then he replied, okay, but can you at least get me a receipt so I can post it? And I said, not until tomorrow, but I promise you are still part of this contest. So he took a screen cap of that email and posted it on Twitter, tagging David Harper.
Fantastic.
And at that point, I almost said, you're not going to win. However, it is not my decision.
Nope,
it is a random drawing.
David's going to be drawing.
Yeah, so it's not fair for me to do that anyway.
Right.
I just wanted to say, Guy, come on.
Yeah, I know you're trying to help. This is not helping. And that's kind of a thing that we were dealing with through the day was...
Oh man, is that the title of this episode?
I don't know what was
This is not helping?
This is not... No.
Let me get my notebook.
No.
Fine.
By us not being at the store, by literally no one being at the store, it made it kind of difficult to do basic tasks. We can remote in and do a few things. People who'd asked for subscription changes or whatnot, like, that's all stuff where we're like, that I can do. But when it's check for this book on the shelf or make sure you have this, it's like, if no one's there, no one can do it. And it's difficult to say in this time, like, things are changing, and our availability to do simple running a business tasks are going to be kind of impaired from time to time. We'll be sending out an email Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, kind of revising kind of what we're able to do for subscribers and subscription books.
Oh, we didn't turn the heat off.
That's fine. To get all of that in one place at one time. But there's a few people who emailed today who are very, like, nervous about, our financial status and their what they could do to pay for their books and all that sort of stuff, and I had to basically say, tomorrow. We will give you an answer tomorrow. Don't worry about it right now.
But also, thank you. Thank you for caring enough about us to reach out. Thank you for worrying about our business. I mean, to be fair, we are as optimistic as we can be because it doesn't help us to be visually or audibly, I meant to say orally, but I mean orally with the A-U-R-A-L, not O-R-A-L. Like, we don't want you to hear that we're nervous, because sure, we're nervous. This is...
You listen to Contest of Challengers, right?
100% changing the comics industry irrevocably, forever.
I'll give you a little preview of sentence 3 of the email and the website post that we're going to have tomorrow. We have every intention of reopening our doors as soon as the state of Illinois says it's safe to do so.
Wait, doors plural?
Doors. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Multiple doors.
Oh, like front and back door. Got it.
Sure. I mean, hopefully by then it'll be a nice breeze.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, all of that was kind of what we were dealing with today, and today felt like a very hectic, busy day in a way that I think I wasn't necessarily anticipating for being furloughed.
I'll be honest, I expected that we would be at the store mostly normal hours for this week.
Yeah.
So it was a surprise to me to not have that.
So some of it is...
And then it was a surprise to me that I still woke up this morning.
Yeah, so some of it is that...
What I meant by that is I wanted to sleep in as late as possible, not that I wasn't going to wake up. And I was doing a good job until my nephew texted me about the Serpent Crown website, because he's doing a small documentary for us.
Oh, neat.
But that was non-comic related.
Yeah, I think some of it is that we expected to be there every day because we're used to being at the store every day. And there's definitely things to do, but there's an element of... One, is it enough to be worth being there when you don't have to be, when there's no one who's going to come in? But also, and this is maybe going to sound a little selfish, we can not be at the store at this point.
Yeah, I know. And it's so weird to me.
It's maybe worth taking advantage of that while that is something we could take advantage of.
I mean, our stores have been closed 2 days in a row for the first time in the history of Challengers.
Yeah, pretty much. And, I mean, the furlough is just getting started.
Hey, how close are we to getting to the limit of your card?
Not close?
Okay. Here's the thing I thought of.
Okay.
basically there's someone in the community who is an electrician who is out of work and is looking for work.
Uh-huh.
And would now be a good time to bring someone in and say, hey, can you fix all our ballasts? One person who'd be by themselves on a ladder
Sure.
away from, like, one of us would be there, fine. But
Does one of us have to be there?
what are we going to just give them the keys?
I mean, basically, yeah.
I would be there, that's fine.
I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm
Or
just saying
would
it
you
doesn't seem
rather
necessary.
not use that money in that way now?
The latter at this point.
Okay.
It's mostly because we don't know how long this is going to last and what everything's going to look like on the other side. And
Yeah.
I don't want to put anything kind of other than like basic human necessity stuff on that right now if we can avoid it. So things
You
like
bought a turtle.
I did what?
You bought a pet turtle this week.
That is a necessity.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I apologize.
Well, so I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but the order was shelter in place, so I had to have Shelter here with me. His name is Shelter, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Oh, I thought
I named him Shelter.
I thought
I'm
you
sorry.
meant because
No, sorry.
a turtle's home is itself, and they don't walk very fast, so he'd shelter in. Is it he?
I haven't asked.
No,
They. Let's just go with
they would shelter in place just by being there.
Yeah. No.
Oh,
No.
Weird.
I think I did say he before, so that was sorry. They when I was told shelter in place, I brought
shelter in
with
place.
me to my place.
I see.
Yeah. I feel like we've gotten way off track here. What were we talking about before? I don't want to
Whether
put a
it's
bunch
worth-
of money on a credit card
Okay.
unless it's mission critical at this point.
Full transparency. My first thought was, why can't we get the carpet now?
Oh man,
We're
no,
closed.
No,
Let's just get carpet.
no.
I mean, we want new carpet. We need to be closed for it.
No. The answer's no.
Right, which is why I downgraded from carpet. And not even
Still no.
new lighting.
Still no.
Just ballasts.
Still no.
I thought maybe I could do it in this time period. Then I thought, no, let's get somebody else who can do it.
Yeah. Or let's just not do that and concentrate on other things. So
It's just that the ballast over the non-registered computer at Bucktown went out, so it's dark.
It's a little dark
above that computer, and it makes me think it's later in the day every time.
Sure, I hear you. There have been times where a bulb has burned out there, and it's just been like, oh, I can't change it right now. Oh, this feels real weird.
And now we can't change it at all because the bulbs are good.
True. So anyway, so we dropped the books off, and we did the sketch stuff
A little bit, yeah.
a little bit, as much as we felt like we were going to, and then
And look, it's not like we didn't have other things to do for the store
Right.
that we could do at a different locale.
right. So left, got some lunch, and then you notified me that you had heard from.
Yes, my friend Bob. Your friend Bob too? This guy you know, Bob.
I don't want to make assumptions.
Patron Bob Burns,
Patron Robert Burns.
brutally frank creator and
Which is probably how he heard.
Divorce Gun member Robert Burns had texted me to say, I heard about Diamond. That's whatever, messed up, crazy, interesting. And he sent a link to a website article, and I immediately Googled other sources because his article was bleeding cool. Mm-hmm. And I found an article on comicbook.com, which is just basically taking the bleeding cool article and making it their own.
Because that's comicbook.com for you.
But yeah, so it's once again the comics press finds out long before the retailers
I
do.
guess it leaked in a way that it wasn't supposed to leak because they were
mean-
going to announce it to the retail community.
Do you think they were gonna?
I think they were, yeah, because they had something ready to go. We got an email, a signed email from Steve Jeppy that came in a little bit later.
Wait, it was Steve Jeppy?
Mm-hmm.
Man, if you look on the internet about what I'm about to say, I thought it was Steve Lombardi, the Brooklyn Brawler
Whoa.
from the 1990s WWF.
Yeah, I can see it.
Look up Brooklyn Brawler. In fact, you know what? That's what the episode image is going to be.
The Brooklyn
A side-by-side comparison of Steve Jeppy and the Brooklyn Brawler.
Spitting image for sure.
Anyway, I thought it was an email from the Brooklyn Brawler. Apparently, it was Steve Jeppy from Diamond Comics.
Steve Jeppy, the whatever of Diamond Comics. So basically what's happening is that as of the April 1st shipment of comic books to Diamond accounts, Diamond is suspending all accounts indefinitely. No books are being shipped out to retailers as of April 1st. There is a warehouse that is still running, but it is all restock material, so stores are still able to say, sell older stuff and then restock from Diamond via direct ships. But the regular weekly orders, that stuff, they turn that off.
And they've asked for publishers to stop sending them new product.
Right, because they got nowhere to put it.
Now, I have a question.
Patrick.
I believe just last night you did some reorders?
I did, but those unfortunately we're going to be shipping out with our regular shipments because as a store that is not currently able to be open to the public and we are not their normal operating hours, we can't really get direct ships done because we don't know if we'll be there when a UPS truck shows up.
Correct.
So I mean, we may have to do a direct ship reorder at some point, depending on how long the store closure is scheduled to last for. We can move product around between the two stores enough to kind of fill stuff, depending on what sells and what doesn't. But there may be a point where we have to say, yes, we're out of enough staple things that we need to get these back in. And I'd love to have that problem. I'd love to be selling enough product
that we have to get it back.
But I don't know if that's likely, depending on how some other things play out. So this is something that we talked about in the last episode as kind of what Diamond could do in a leadership position, which is basically turn off the faucet. This is something that is a very contentious decision that Diamond made for the retail community. It's something that, honestly, the other side of it, I think I had talked about near the end of 2019 when there were a lot of weird delays and stuff because of how the holidays landed and how detrimental a week of no product is for a comic shop because our bills don't stop. Having to pay 4 weeks worth of rent with 3 weeks worth of sales is really difficult. And that goes for payroll, and that goes for utilities, and that goes for everything else. So on the one hand, that's what I said back in December, but the difference this time is that the decision to turn off the faucet and stop shipping books to retailers is by far
the better choice.
The lesser of the detrimental options that Diamond had available to them.
And if you look at the entertainment industry as a whole, all the movies have been pushed back indefinitely
for the same
years,
reason.
Whatever.
Like if movie theaters are closed, there's no sense putting movies out because no one can go see them.
Well, didn't they push the movies back and then the theaters closed?
Yeah, there was like staggered closures and stuff. And some of this is kind of looking at the landscape and saying, okay, there's X amount of closures now, but there will be 2X amount of closures maybe a week from now, and 3X a week after that. So making a decision now is maybe in the best interest of how long it takes to turn everything off.
And my point was, if Hollywood had already postponed and the theaters were closed, don't you think the comics industry should have stepped up at the same time?
Well, this is real entertainment for real people.
Well, that's true.
Not Hollywood insiders. This is, salt of the earth.
The backbone
like
of
Maxwell
the
Jacob
industry.
Friedman. It's salt of the earth.
Yeah.
So obviously there's two sides of this problem.
He's better than you.
It basically, by turning everything off, you are ensuring that for an indefinite amount of time, could be a couple weeks, could be a couple months, there is no new product coming into stores, which means stores that depend on weekly customers buying new books, which is nearly every comic shop in America, will not have anything to sell to those people. It means your sales are going to drop to basically the staple stuff. Your Saga trades, your bags and boards, your Magic cards. That's best case scenario. If you're allowed to be open, that's kind of all you're going to be able to sell, back issues. The other side of things is that with no product coming in, that's no Diamond bill you have to pay. And no Diamond bill you have to pay means you might actually be able to stretch what little money you've got to cover your monthly rent of your retail location, to cover some payroll for people that you're trying to keep employed so that when you reopen, you have them working on staff. Like, having to do all that and pay a Diamond bill when you can't sell books is impossible. The costs just don't make any sense. So it was really just a matter of, do you shut everything off and you can't sell anything but you don't have to pay for anything, or do you try and keep things going knowing that 34% of stores are not going to be able to keep paying their Diamond bill every week indefinitely?
Now, that was 2 days ago.
What's the number at now?
Oh, I haven't checked, but
at least 34%.
It was 34%, not counting the places like the Dallas area, because all these stats are only statewide.
Right.
We can't do breakdowns of cities,
different metropolitan areas.
and since then a bunch of other states have shut down.
Yeah.
And
again, more are going to. It's not getting the virus is not getting under control. So this is a thing where there's going to have to be more closures. So yeah, it's frustrating a little bit to me that there have already been retailers who have come out and kind of begged Diamond not to turn off the faucet because they still got customers, and what are they supposed to sell to those people? And maybe the other stores could just turn off their accounts or do curbside or basically it was why should I have to suffer for a problem I don't have, which is hilarious to me because that is the overall social situation for the coronavirus. Is you have people who are trying to say, okay, I have to suffer a little bit. I have to close my business, stay inside, avoid things I like doing because it's for the greater social good. It's for everyone's health for me to shelter in place.
Yeah, for example, we legally can do curbside still.
Mm-hmm.
There are other things that we could do. We're not necessarily doing that because we're trying to keep people apart.
Yeah. So the retailers who are saying, this doesn't affect me, so why should I have to do it, is, again, it's frustrating because that's the thing that America as a whole has to do. We all have to look at what's going on and say, what can we do to support one another as a country right now? And yeah, I mean, that's going to mean things like, well, these businesses are closed, so why should I have to close? You don't have to close, but you're going to have to understand that the larger societal effects of keeping everything going just because it's not affecting you could cause a ton of stress on the whole system. Like let's say you're a store in, let's say, pulling a name out of a hat, Arkansas, and you don't have any regulations in place beyond just the general nationwide social distancing, clean surfaces, cough into your elbow, stay at home if you're sick. But people can walk into your business and you can sell them books and they can walk out the door. If you're like, well, the industry should keep going because I can still sell books. As soon as the second or third week of the store closures hits and stores are unable to pay for their books, you are going to see a catastrophic wave of store closures, which in turn will lead to a catastrophic amount of money owed to Diamond that Diamond's never going to see, and product that's in their system that is going to go to zero accounts because the accounts that it was supposed to go to, that it was printed for, no longer exist, which is going to lead to Diamond probably going away, and then there's no market left. So this isn't just a thing of like, Diamond's trying to protect the stores. Diamond is trying to protect the long-term health of the entire comic book industry. Because if Diamond goes away, nearly every publisher is going to see, at the very least, a massive reduction in income. Massive. To the degree that, like, maybe Marvel and DC can license their characters out to book publishers. Everybody else is screwed. Like, there's no way they survive. So this is not just a thing of, like, Challengers is closed, so it's good that Challengers doesn't have to buy books. No, this is... the whole industry needs to be here in May.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing more I can add to that than you're right. And that's why IDW is pushing back. Like, they're not... everything that's already in the pipeline is still being printed, but they're basically taking their May product and pushing everything back a month. So I assume that's so that everything that they did in April will come out in May. So that, like, this is the empty area for now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd
rather
like
than
to
things
see,
double up.
I'd like to see what the how this works for Diamond as a distributor that's usually like soliciting content every single month. Like, the catalog that we just picked up today is for product shipping in June. If the May stuff,
is it?
That's the thing. If the May stuff is moving to June, is this stuff moving to July? Well, there'll have to be a point where they don't release a previews for the month, where there is no catalog to just catch up. And yeah, I mean, in the short term, I don't think things that have been announced are going to be canceled necessarily. They'll just be shifted around the schedule, so that the burden of kind of restarting the comics industry is not too great. It's like exercising. You don't just get up from your couch and go run a marathon. You slowly build up to it. You build up the endurance to be able to do that, and the industry is going to have to do the same thing. When Diamond starts shipping product out again, we can't go from like $0 bill to a $7,000 bill, for example.
I wish you would have told me that 4 torn hamstrings ago.
It's going well. We should have done a lot more endurance training stuff on this podcast. I realize that now. Everyone was at fault on this one. kind of threw me off a little bit.
Did the popping light bulb throw you off too? Did you catch that?
No, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can see it from here. Yeah.
I wonder if it was picked up on the microphone.
Everything's falling apart here in the Challenger studio.
Jeez.
So
what we did was, since the last episode, we did the final order cutoffs for
what would have been April 15th.
And I finished the orders for quote-unquote May for Bucktown.
You didn't upload it yet, did you?
And no. Okay. Should I? We have till Thursday?
I don't know if we do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. If you want to upload it immediately after that, that's fine.
No, you can do it.
The point of that is that if you are a regular Challengers customer, but not a subscriber, and you listen to this podcast, we're warning you now. The publishers that have done nothing to help us in this time, we have rewarded by burning our numbers to the ground.
Things are going to be, like, for the foreseeable future. I mean, this is the thing. Like, when we did that, it was with the assumption that we would still keep getting product through the closure. So a lot of our numbers were based on subscriber numbers, little bit for the shelves in case other subscribers were like, hey, can you add that book for me? We wanted to be able to fill those orders. We were basically assuming 0 rack sales because no one can get to the store who would buy it off the rack. And they're probably not going to want it when we reopen. So if it wasn't made returnable by the publisher, Marvel, DC, cut to the bone. One, I don't know if those numbers are still going to be valid because they're definitely going to do FOCs again when we are close to things going out. 2, I got to assume that once those FOCs happen, like once they're kind of starting things up again, my cuts were based around the idea that we would not be open on April 15th to walk-in traffic.
Right.
I didn't think we'd be able to reopen by that point. If I'm confident enough that we're able to reopen to walk-in traffic as normal, I will probably raise some of those numbers slightly, but again, really making sure that the people who are giving us returnability don't suffer that much. Everything's going to get cut a little bit. Everyone's going to be in a really weird place. The economy is not good, and it's going to get worse.
Well, I can tell you, having just finished the May catalog, I went really hard on Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean, like, maybe just subs, maybe 1 or 2 for the shelf.
But they're giving you extra percentage points on books that you don't know if you'll be able to sell to anyone, and even if you can, you don't know who they're going to be able to sell to.
What do you mean?
Was it only through FOC?
It was only through last week's FOCs, not the ones we did this week. It was already done by then.
They only did it for 1 retroactive week?
They did it for 3 weeks worth of books. Like, yeah, we're starting with this FOC, that discount is gone.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What a nightmare. It's even worse than I thought.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, basically, what they said was...
When they said it was just percentage points, I kind of stopped listening because I'm like, this doesn't help me at all.
It was percentage points for the books you'd already FOC'd for the duration of the shutdown. So the FOCs that we just did would be for the first week back. Mm-hmm. So it was for last week's book, which they have to give us retroactively because we already got billed for those.
Are we just going to get a negative bill next week?
I wonder. I mean, seriously, I wonder.
I don't know how that works. Does it just become a credit on our account?
We still need to figure out where they are going to fix our AWA discount because they didn't bill people the 70% off for Resistance that they promised.
We have books that we have to pack up for those frontless consignment returns. We need to do like tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Because we only have. I mean, I don't know that they're going to enforce this considering everything that's going on. But we have 2 weeks from when they give us the form to get them back to them.
Well, we can pack them up tomorrow and take them to.
We could have today, and I didn't even think about it.
Sure.
Anyway.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll be in the store for basically
a full day.
A full day.
I feel like,
give or take.
Yeah.
I mean, starting at the right time, but maybe not until 7. But
until we have to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer if it was just me. Definitely longer if it was just me. Yes. So, one other thing that we're doing is we're still going to rack the books like normal.
Are we?
Aren't we?
I wasn't going to.
Oh, I thought we would so people could come and look. Could come look at the window.
I mean, I don't see that we'll get a lot of walk-by traffic.
Never mind then.
Because that means I'd have to do all that, and I would have done it today.
Oh, okay. I thought you were choosing to hold it off. I felt like you really didn't want to be there today. I mean, it did spring it on you that we were going.
I was stressing out about other stuff that we were working on.
Yeah. So other stuff that we're working on that you'd mentioned on the last podcast, do you want to bring up or not?
Yeah, we're in the process of figuring out if Comic Hub is a good fit for us. There's advantages to it in theory. Things about how we'd be able to offer our full in-store inventory online to people, which would be a huge asset right now. There's also subscription management tools that people would be able to be a lot more on the ball with kind of normally what they're getting in and how it looks and being able to pay online, but that doesn't seem as critical right now. But it's there's like maybe 5 or 6 things that kind of don't do what we need it to do that we need it to do that, and if we can get it to do that, great, we'll roll it out. If we can't, and I hate doing this because we've already had one instance like 3 or 4 years ago where we got close with doing Comic Hub, and we, after like
couple days,
not even it was a few hours, that we're just like, this is not where we need it to be, and we had to bail out. So I kind of hate to do that again, because Stu at Comic Hub is a super nice guy, and he really believes in the platform. We've heard really good things from stores that are using it, but there's just basic like ways we run our business that are maybe stupid, or if you want to be generous, unique to challengers, that we kind of can't do it another way. And Comic Hub has some elements where it feels very built around, this is the way Comic Hub has to work. You need to do it this way for Comic Hub to work. So long story short, that is not rolling out just yet. We hope, I genuinely optimistically want to roll it out. I think it's got a lot of advantages. It's just we hit a kind of stumbling block on a few things that don't do what we need it to do. And it's really just a matter of finding out from Stu, like, can we get Comic Hub to do these things?
Did you write up all those things?
I made notes to myself, but I'm going to tonight write up in detail, like, explaining everything.
Send it to me as well, and I'll send it to Travis to see what his take is on those.
Okay.
We're lucky to have other retailers who use this program who are willing to answer questions.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we'll have a solution where people will be able to do mail order and stuff like that, with our full real-time inventory, so you know exactly what you're getting and you have some confidence we have it in stock. That would be nice for all the people from Sketched, but unfortunately just was not ready to roll out. So that was stressing me out today, because that was a thing that moved a little bit faster than I thought we were going to, and I was grateful for it, because I thought, man, if we can get this where we need it to be, that's going to be a huge thing to have this early into the shutdown, especially with, at that point, considering that we would still have books coming in next week and the week after and the week after. Now with that not happening, it doesn't feel as crucial, beyond the idea of having some way to sell to people who are not subscribers, and even to subscribers that are just sitting at home with nothing to read, that maybe want to pick up a graphic novel. I just don't know if we can get there. I want to. I'm trying to. Beyond that, if anyone listening to this does want anything from us as far as like buying graphic novels or comics that we might have in stock, we are happy to work with people on as one-to-one a basis as we possibly can. Shoot us an email, challengers@challengerscomics.com.
Both are plural.
Challengers with an S, comics with an S.com. And let us know if you're looking for specific books. We will try and let you know if we've got them. We are going back to the store on an almost daily basis for one thing or another. So it might be a thing where you email us in the morning and at night we tell you, yeah, we've got it and we can pack it up. We'll send you an invoice you can pay online. So yeah, we are definitely happy to do that. We stock a lot of comics and graphic novels. Honestly, a lot more graphic novels than comics. So if you're looking for like a random Marvel book from 2 months ago, we may not have it. But if you're looking for nearly anything Image has published in a graphic novel format, we probably got it. So yeah, we're happy to work with people and to get them their books.
Or how about this?
How about this?
I should ask you this off before we say it.
That's fine.
But if you're a subscriber, you can just have us roll the dice. Like we'll pick something for you. We'll look at what you've bought, so we're not giving you something you already have, and we'll pick for you.
I don't know if I want to do. You can.
Okay.
I mean, you can do that for sure. I usually don't feel great being able to not just say like, "How about this?" and then someone goes yes. Just shipping something to someone blind would be weird. I will offer this though.
I will only pick the biggest books that we have.
I will offer this though. When Patrick and I are going to be in the store for a length of time, like say Tuesday, we will post on Instagram, and I guess and Twitter as well, and I guess Facebook, that we are in store. And
so if you want to call,
or if you want, and you have an iPhone, email us, challengers@challengerscomics.com. And if you want to do FaceTime, I will walk around the store and show you what we've got.
And you'll have Dow's personal cell number.
Yeah. I mean, basically that's what's going to happen is you're going to email and you're going to let me know your phone number. And then I am going to FaceTime you. I am fine with that for subscribers. I kind of don't want to do that for strangers because I feel like I'm setting myself up for some really bad FaceTimes.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? The internet, strangers.
Right.
But if you're a subscriber and you want to get like extra stuff shipped out, let us know. We will post that stuff online when we're at the store for any real length of time. If we're just popping in, it's not going to be up there. So kind of, if you're not already constantly on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, keep an eye on those. You'll have a window. Like, again, this is not going to be like some sort of flash sale
hey,
thing.
you get 10 minutes.
No, it'll be something where like we will be at the store for hours. We will do the post as soon as we get there. We will do another post when we leave.
I was willing to do like Facebook Live of, hey, here's the wall of new releases, but we're not going to have a wall of new releases.
I mean, depending on the time tomorrow, I can try and do it if it's important to you.
Well, we could just file the books and then throw everything, like not organize, just throw it up there and be like this.
Sure.
Like,
Okay.
yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Make it a little easier. Like no backer cards or anything.
It's just getting the backer cards back on the main wall is a process.
Okay.
But I can
two
make
of us.
space. It's not so much that it's like it would not go faster with two people.
Okay.
Because it's literally moving every single comic on the wall in sequence.
I see.
Yeah. But
I don't do that, so I don't
Right.
have to worry.
We can still do it though. We can put up this stuff on the new release wall. It just may be a thing where like the last week's stuff does not get organized super great Tuesday night. But we've got weeks ahead that I can do all that.
Sure.
So yeah, we will set up the new release wall. We'll do we'll probably do some sort of Instagram post unrelated to the I will walk through the store for you.
Yeah, just highlighting
where
books.
we just show the whole wall on a video so you get an idea of kind of what's out there. We want to do all these things to try and keep the experience of being in the store available to people because we know that is important to them. Honestly, it's important to us. All the solutions we're doing are just stopgaps. We really want that in-store experience back. So
They're
we want
like
to do these
plugging
things.
holes in a dam.
I don't know what that means.
That was last week's.
I know.
Last
It's a
episode.
joke.
You said it.
That's
never
why I
referenced
made
it.
that joke.
And we never referenced that actual sentence.
So yeah, we're doing all this specifically to get to the point where we can reopen the store and have that in-store experience back. I just spent a ton of time last week rearranging sidekicks. And Patrick spent time a few days before that rearranging sidekicks.
And Gina.
So we want to get to that point where you can actually experience
we're so excited with how Sidekicks looks now. We would love for you to all see
Almost no one's been able to touch it except for apparently one child who moved around every book on the wall.
Every gosh darn book on the wall.
I looked inside and I saw all these empty spaces and I thought, oh, wow, Patrick must have sold a bunch of stuff on that Saturday before the store closed. No, it's just one kid moved them into different stacks. It's like, oh, great. We kept finding, oh, here's Making Friends. Oh, here's the second book in Making Friends. It's on a different shelf over here. Neither of which is on the same wall they're supposed to be on. Frustrating.
Indeed. So, a couple more things.
What's that?
Number one, the idea of building an episode out of mini episodes. We ruined that because this is a full-length episode.
Yeah, we really got off on a tangent.
I apologize to patrons, but this isn't a patron first because I'll need to load all of this as much as possible today, so I don't have to do it tomorrow night. Because we want as many people to hear that what they can do is possible for getting the books. So this will be the opposite of a patron exclusive. Everybody gets it simultaneously. They don't even get this one early. They'll get an unedited version, but
So this is just going to go up this weekend?
no, it's going to go up right now.
So is there going to be one this weekend then?
I
I don't understand.
time will tell.
I don't understand.
I mean, if rather than like this goes up as an episode tonight
Okay. For Patreon subscribers or for everybody?
for everybody,
Okay.
because it's full length,
Okay.
and there's so many things we talked about that would be
That are relevant
that
to
are time sensitive
non-subscribers?
for new releases
Sure.
that we want people to get the information.
Okay.
So I assume things will happen in the next couple days that we'll want to talk about.
Probably.
So
This wasn't a plan at all. This was literally just like half an hour before we recorded. It was like, a lot happened today.
yeah, we should talk about it, but let me eat my sandwich first. Also, not that good. Not that good of a sandwich. The bagel was the mistake.
We've done a lot of takeout. Like a lot of people have with coronavirus? Is that what it's called?
I mean, we have done. You have done less takeout than normal.
It's true. I've tried to limit my takeout because that's an expenditure that I'm trying to save some money because I don't know how long my money is going to last for.
When I say takeout, I think of like, we're getting Thai food or something you don't normally
DoorDash.
get. You just mean your normal
DoorDash.
meals.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this will literally be episode 470.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we do smaller ones during the week and put those up for patrons. I don't know at this point.
Yeah.
This is a full one.
Play it by ear.
Secondly, it's only been one actual day of the shut-in.
Yeah.
I already made dramatic changes to my head.
You did, it's true.
I have a quarantine mohawk.
Have you shown it off online at all?
No.
Should that be the picture of the
No.
episode?
No, I've shown it to...
Patrick's day zero quarantine
I've shown
haircut?
it to, like, 3 people. That's
Okay.
all. And, like, people will be able to see it if they...
Do you count the warehouse guy?
Oh, no, I don't. Yeah, okay.
You weren't wearing a hat. He
That's
saw it.
correct. Yeah, warehouse guy. Yes. So, like, 4 people.
Okay.
So, who knows what I will look like by the end of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Idle
an
hands and
interesting
all
time
that.
for a lot of people.
And then I wanted to relay a story from this morning where, if you know me, you know how prevalent music is in my life. And I don't just mean making it, I mean listening to it. And I have a Bluetooth shower speaker. I've had Bluetooth shower speakers for a couple of years now, but I recently bought a nice one that does a lot of nice things. And I listen to it whilst I'm in the shower. So this morning, while I was creating this hairstyle that I have now, I was listening to what, Dale?
BBC Radio 1.
BBC Radio 1 in the bathroom.
Was it Scott and Chris?
It was later in the day, so it was Grimmy.
Okay.
It was Nick Grimshaw.
Okay.
And so it was playing.
Mm-hmm.
And then a different noise came on and kept going. And I'm like, I don't know what this is doing. So I start jabbing buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I knew that I could receive a phone call on that device. I just never actually received a phone call and was unsure of what you do. Should you get a phone call?
Sure.
So I start poking at buttons just to get it to shut up. And then there's a pause. And then David Harper comes on saying, hello? I'm like, oh, hey, David. So we were going over some more of the details.
To quote Homer Simpson, you'll have to speak up. I'm in a towel.
But I was literally in the shower when he called. So that was hilarious. And I told him that after the fact. I'm like, hey, man, sorry that phone call was so weird. I was in the shower. Yes. So those are the things. So, and again, sorry, patrons. This is not a patron early episode like we promised at the beginning.
But, I just want to note that we're only recapping, less than 3 days worth of our lives.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And Sunday kind of barely counted.
The entire last Thursday, I did an hour-and-a-half conversation with John Suntress for Word Balloon that he's just not using because everything changed so dramatically.
Yeah.
Most of that information is wrong.
No, and that's, like we talked about in the last episode, we had posted revised hours, and 2 days later, it's like, take those signs down.
Yeah, those are no hours.
Yeah, no one's open. Doesn't matter what you thought your hours are going to be. And
Yep.
that's, I think a lot of people, just in general, but certainly those of us that are not on a specific extended break from our jobs, it would be nice if things stopped moving for a little bit.
Yeah. So we can get used to one thing.
Yeah, it's been hard to communicate a lot of things to our customers, and which has led to a lot of kind of panicked emails from people wanting to know what they can do or what we're going to do. When it's this is some of this news you have not even given us 24 hours to process. We are still devising things and working with other people to make sure we can do things. There's been stuff for kind of what we're going to be able to do for people's subscriptions this week as far as getting the books to them that we've basically been told, please don't announce this until this point because we need to announce it first.
Yeah.
And it's okay, that means that we are in a kind of very small window with which to get that information to our people, which, we'll absolutely do. We're totally grateful for it. But it's still a thing of, the people are kind of desperate for answers, and it's even the stuff I know, some of it I can't say yet because we're not quite there.
I had to email a journalist back and say, hey, the thing I said, either don't use it or wait until I tell you can use it.
Yeah. like the Comic Hub thing is a thing where like I'd love to say like we're definitely going to do this and here's where it's going to be, but it's more like I think it's going to work, but I don't know how long it's going to take to get there. And it's and even again, like we could have been. I've had to go in and revise some of the things that I put in the draft I have of the email and the news post that we're going to be doing tomorrow about people's subscriptions during the shutdown, because now there's no books coming out and we don't know when more books are coming out.
Yeah.
So what we were trying to frame as like, this is the new routine, this is the new normal until stores reopen is now like, it is, but there's not going to be any books. So a lot of this is going to be about, if you want to order stuff, this is when we'll be doing these things to get the books out to you. Like, that part isn't changing, but how much you'll want to use it, probably changing.
So this is just an update to see where we are at this point in time.
Man, oh man.
Who knows when the next one will be and what it'll say. Thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155.
And in the River North neighborhood of Chicago at 750 North Franklin Street, number 103, 312-285-2252.
Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.